Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here. It is time for Trashcraft Tuesday, and you may be able to tell from what's on my desk that I've got a little envelope project for you today. So I first want to just have a little giggle with you about this address on the front of the envelope. This came from the car yard that we bought our new car from, and it's addressed to Leithfield, which is a little township about 5 minutes south of the town that we live in. And the guy that we were dealing with, he used to live in Leithfield. So when he sent us mail, he sent it to our street address, which I've blacked out, but in Leithfield. I thought that was really funny. Fortunately, the postie was up with the play and the postcode is correct, so it still got to us. But I just thought that was really funny. So, an envelope. Today we are using an envelope that does not have a window. I'm sure you can all get your hands on a non-window envelope. However, if you've only got window envelopes, just work with it. It will be fine. So, first off, we need this flap closed. If it's not already closed, we need to glue that closed. So that's the first task for today. And this one's a little bit damaged. It's all going to be covered over, so it's not a problem if it's damaged. If you don't have the flap, then you'll just need to close it with the paper that you decorate it with. So don't be too worried if your flap is gone or what have you. You'll just find a way around it as you work. And I'm sure as I show you what the plan is, that you'll find a way around that pretty easily. Right, so my flap is now glued shut. I swear, it is so cold, I don't think my tongue is working properly. And if I didn't have nail wraps on, I'm pretty sure my nails would be blue. It is so cold. Really cold today. Right, so I need to cut my envelope. Getting a little ahead of myself. This is a typical journal page for my size journal. So whatever size you work with, you need to trim to that size. There's a little grease mark here, but I'm sure it will be fine. And it needs to be narrower than your page, obviously. So we have got no window, so I'm not worried about preserving the space above the window. You know how they're always closer to one end than the other. So I'm going to put a mark here and here. And we need to chop off both ends. Not one end, both ends. Okay. So I'm just going to take out my guillotine and do that. So step 1, glue your envelope. Excuse me. Shut your envelope. If you've still got the flap attached. Step 2, cut it to the height of your typical journal page, or a journal page that you're working with that you'd like this to go on. Right, there we go. Both ends are off. So we have essentially, I'm a bit sad to lose the stamp, but I can't rip the stamp off because then it would damage the envelope. A tube, see, goes all the way through. So choose a side to be your face up side. It could be this side or this side. I'm going to choose this side because I don't want this seam here to be a problem if I'm sliding things in behind. If I'm trying to slide something in behind, I'm going to run into that and it's going to be a problem. So I'm going to make that my front, and now I'm going to take my ruler, line up my envelope on my mat here. I haven't made a prototype of this, but I've been thinking all last night and all this morning about it, so I'm pretty sure it's going to work. And our envelope is, or my envelope is 4.5 inches wide, so I need to go at 2 1/4. you don't need to go completely in half. You could go wherever you like, but I'm just for argument's sake going to go center. So I'm going to make a little mark at 2.5, sorry, 2.25 inches, and then roll a line there. Now this might be easier to do after it's collaged, but I'm just going to do it now because I've taken the time to measure it. So you might want to wait and do this step once you've covered it. But I'm just going to do it now because as I said, I've already gone to the trouble. Now you will need to use scissors for this. I suppose I could have waited to glue this down and then I could have, yeah. If I'd waited to glue this down, then I could have opened it out and used my guillotine. But as I said, I haven't made a prototype, so I feel like I need to make a version 2 of this so that I get the order in the right, the steps in the right order. Yeah, can't even get my words in the right order. What hope have I got to get the process in the right order? So I get to make all the mistakes and give you tips on how not to copy my mistakes. Does that sound like a deal? I think it sounds like a deal. There we go. I think either way will be fine. Okay, so we've got some little flappy bits and pretty much should be able to remove them. If they don't want to come easily or if they look like they're going to tear your base layer, then just glue them on instead. Glue the loose bits down. I'm just going to carefully take them off. That one at the bottom here, oh, actually might come off. I didn't think it was going to, but it is going to. Just carefully. There we go. So we have like little door, and that's where I blacked out our address. So I need to cover the inside. The inside can be writing space, and that's what I intend it to be. So I'm going to grab out coffee dyed paper, I think, and cover the inside. So this is some coffee dyed grid paper. I think I'll do it in 3 sections. So I'm just going to first rip off this where it was folded in, because it's a page out of a book. Out of an exercise book. Actually, same paper as this one, only this one obviously is not coffee dyed. So it comes up really yummy when you coffee dye it. And I think I'm going to leave a little bit of a border of the envelope pattern because I like the blue. I think it's nice, but you could completely cover it if you choose. If you've got a pattern or a colour on the inside or some other what have you that you don't like. Oh, I love that sound of tearing paper. Yeah, it's a little hard to see where the lines are, so I'm just going to fold these back the other way, I think. It's going to make it a little bit easier to see when I go to place this that I'm actually centering it. Because I want approximately the same size border all the way around, or close to. Okay, so I'll leave that like that until it's glued on. Yeah, definitely want this side. It's got a lot more going on. So let's do the old trick of the glue stick combined with the tacky glue. If you're not familiar with that trick, then just watch my channel a bit more and you'll see that's what I quite often do, combination of the two. Which means I use less glue pages, get less sticky, and double up the chances that my paper is not going to come adrift. So then come in round the edges with the tacky glue. Be helpful if my paper wouldn't keep moving on me. There we go, all the way around the outside, and then just a squiggle in the middle over top of the glue stick, just to make it permanent. Really, really permanent. And then I'm trying to center it roughly round about. It looks pretty good. Give it a smooth. It's got a few wrinkles there. You might just added texture, isn't it? Just added texture. Right. So now it is easier to see what I've got left here. So I'm also going to, do I want those writing as well? It might be a little hard to write on, actually, for what I've got planned. So I might make those decorative instead. I can always change my mind, because I think I'm going to work on the front. Remember where we've put our split, that's our front. I'm going to work on that first. Sorry, I didn't mean to disappear on you. I had a piece of paper out to use for the front, and now I can't find it. So bear with me a minute. It was here. Oh, that's driving me loopy. I cannot find it. Okay, plan B then. Let's see what else we've got that we can use. Sorry about that, guys. That was just like, I don't know what's happened to my bit of paper. Crazy business. And I don't want to take too long hunting for it in case I've like picked it up with something and put it in a different room or something weird like that. So I'm just going to grab out something else. Maybe this one, which is nothing like what I was going to use, but that's okay. We'll just roll with the punches. This is from my, what's it called? It's a floral kit I've got up on Etsy. I can't remember what it's called. Tell you what, I'm just going to blame everything on being cold. Nothing's working. My brain is gone. Although this project is, yeah, I think it's still going to work. And I probably should have been sleeping instead of thinking about this project and how it was going to work and how I was going to do it. That also might have been a good idea. But I was so cold last night. I started with my electric blanket on, but, you know, turned it off before I went to sleep. And then it took me ages to go to sleep because I was still cold. Oh, it was miserable. It's very hard to go to sleep when you're cold. Almost as, well, probably as hard as it is to go to sleep when you're too hot as well. Never the perfect conditions, is it? Or very rarely. Okay. Yep, it is going to be the right height. I thought I'd better just check that we're going to have the right height. Nothing that a bit of washi or other bit of collage paper or something wouldn't fix though. So how are you today, my friends? I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're comfortable, that you're neither too hot nor too cold. It's just like, it's supposed to be summer and we've had some cracker summer days, like too hot. 38 degrees, that's too hot. And most unheard of for my little town, but yes, a week ago that's what it was, 38 degrees. Today, when I last looked, it was 12. Like, that's a significant difference. I'm talking Celsius here. That's just like cold. Just cold. In the middle of winter, it would be probably quite temperate and mild, but in the middle of summer, or it's late summer actually, but in summer that is cold. Right, where am I trying to? I'm going to fold this out because I can't see where I'm going to. And I want to leave a little edge there. I don't want to wrap it round for the same reason that we've put the edge of the envelope on the top, so that we don't end up with something. I think maybe I need to do this the other way round because I can't see. Maybe lift it up so I can see the envelope. Gosh, I'm having such a hard time. So we've got a busy week this week, and not in a terribly fun way. Hubby has a dentist appointment on, let's see, what day? Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Where he's probably going to be having a tooth extracted. So that's not going to be very fun for him. I'm going to be doing the grocery shopping that day. So I'm going to have to work around his appointment and how he's feeling and all that. Normally I'd do it on a Friday, but this week it has to be a Thursday because I have a doctor's appointment on Friday that I have to go to. And yeah, so that cancels out going out on Friday for me because I can't spend all day out in Rangiora, etc. when I've got to be at the doctor's here in Amberley in the late afternoon. So that's annoying, but I had to make my appointment 3 months ahead, which is just utterly ridiculous in my book. But however, got to do what you got to do. So I made the appointment 3 months ago, and I'm not going to muck around trying to change it now and risk, not being able to have another one for weeks or months, because I need my medication and all that lovely jazz. So yeah, a bit of disruption to my normal flow this week, which means all my videos have to be done for Thursday and Friday and Saturday ahead of time. Although I could do Saturday on Friday, but I'll see if I can get it done ahead of time. Also means I'm not going to get much computer time, which is sad because I really want to get my new digital kit done. It's coming along nicely and I'm loving it. Right, so I'm just going to put the next bit on there. Turn it around this way, just remind me to glue it on the right way up. Yeah, I don't actually end up gluing it upside down because that would be utter nonsense. Wednesday, I've got a feeling there's something on Wednesday, but I can't think what it is. Also got a meeting to go to, both of us, on Thursday night, although that might depend on how hubby's feeling after having his tooth pulled, because if it was me, I'd be quite miserable. I've never had a tooth pulled, so I don't know what it feels like, but I imagine it's not pleasant at all. So yeah, we'll wait and see on Thursday night as to how he's feeling. Okay, so that's that way up. Yep, just double checking because there is some little bits of text on here and I do want it up the right way. So just, since my brain is not completely switched on apparently, I'm just double checking myself. And just wait, we probably still get to the end of the project and I've still done something upside down. Gosh, and I'm feeling hungry too all of a sudden. And that must be the cold. You know how being cold, it does two things to you. Apart from like just your digits not functioning properly and stuff like that. It makes you hungrier. Like your body's using more energy to try and keep you warm. And it makes you want to go to the bathroom more. Or is that just me? And I've been drinking a lot of hot cups of coffee actually this morning. Just so I had something warm to hold on to and warm myself up. But I need to make myself a giant cup because they're just not lasting long enough. And I'm finished and I'm like, I want more, but 3 cups of coffee a day is usually my limit, and I've already had 3 cups, and it's, yeah, we're still an hour off from lunch. So yes, I might have to switch what I'm drinking, because I think 3 cups of coffee is probably quite adequate for a day, unless I was going out to a cafe or something, and then that's an exception where I will have an extra one, but typically 3's it. Right, so we have little doors, and we are going to put a closure on here. It's a little bit curly at the moment, that's just the glue. When it dries we can flatten it out. I do like this pink, I think that works rather lovely. So on the inside we are going to do a little tie closure. So I think with the tie closure it is going to make it too bumpy to write, unless, how about this, we could still put writing paper on, and then where the bumpiness ends up we could put something a little decorative to encourage people that you can write above and below where it's bumpy. So mixing the two, so we're not losing all the writing space. Does it sound like a plan? I think we can go with that. So let's measure out some paper, finish my sentence, yep, all that good stuff. I'm going to need to create a, oh no, I don't need to create a graph, I'll just glue it all down and then we can just put something over top. Just trying to decide the best way to do it. That is not straight. Why is that not straight? Have I got it not lined up properly? Probably most likely what's going on there. That's the edge there. So if I go to that line, we should be about good. And before I glue it down, I'm going to, is that one wide enough? No, it's not. So let's just take another strip and do another one the same size, because they should be exactly the same, the 2 flaps. So that's going to go to that line. I do like working with paper that has lines on it. Makes it a lot easier to measure. Goodness, Georgie, that was a big noise coming through the cat door. Oh, and it wasn't Georgie. Normally it's Georgie makes huge noise. It was Puss, our oldest. Yeah, Georgie sits and plays with the cat door like he's not sure whether it's working or not. And he'll sit there and he'll push it and push it and push it and let it swing backwards and forwards, and then eventually he'll go out. But Puss just came bowling through. Right, so, yep, that's the side I want to use. Yep, just going to flip it around again just to make sure that I'm not bothered about this white bit showing up at the bottom. If that bothers you, cover the whole thing, or ink. I'll probably be inking, so that's going to take care of it, or some washi tape or something like that to disguise it. But I'm not actually worried. I will ink, but it will still, I imagine there'll still be some of the white showing. Not concerned for me. But you do whatever makes your heart happy in regards to that. I do like leaving a border around my papers. for me, it's an aesthetic thing. It just kind of frames things out. Right. You can see a bit of the text on the envelope flap under there as well. That is fine. After all, it is an envelope. Like, we don't need to completely disguise the fact that it's an envelope. Unless you want to. So I hope you enjoy this project. I don't know if anyone's done this before, quite possibly. There's nothing really new out there, is there? But I haven't seen this done, so I can't say whether it's been done or not. Somebody may have. If you do know somebody who's done this, let me know. I'll go search them out and see if I can find a video on it, just to see how, you know, whether it varies or pick up any other tips or ideas. Such a big community out there of junk journalists and paper crafters, and the two do cross over a little bit. It's just a whole world of inspiration, isn't there? Yep. Dogs are barking. Very noisy, very loud. There we go. So we now have writing space, and this way goes this way up. So we've got this blue showing around. I am going to ink it just to show you what it's going to look like. I don't think I've used my brush for a while, so the ink on it's kind of a little dried up, I think. Needs a little bit of extra work to get some inkiness happening. It's not long since I re-inked my vintage photo pad, so should be pretty good. And I think I would even do down in these creases, in the fold lines rather. Just gives them a little definition as well. You don't have to, by any means, you don't have to ink at all, as you well know. Just purely preference. And style too, depending what style of journal you're going with. Inking automatically gives it that sort of vintage vibe, which I am quite partial to. A lot of us are partial to that vintage vibe, aren't we, to be honest? I don't know why I say that, to be honest. I actually hate that saying, because, like, always honest. Why say to be honest? Because that sort of intimates that you're not actually telling the truth sometimes, and, like, that's ridiculous. I actually hate the saying, but I've heard other people say it online, and I think I've just picked it up and kind of incorporated it into my language without meaning to. And I really want to stop it because I don't like it. And I've heard the occasional person say it in their video, like, quite a lot, repeatedly. And, you know, I personally find that annoying. I don't stop watching them because of it. I just find it annoying because anything like that in life annoys me. And when I find myself repeating myself, here I go, I get annoyed with myself. Yeah, I just said the same word 3 times because I don't like it. It's like, there's heaps of other words you can use. Don't use the same words over and over and over. But you know, I'm no different to anybody else. I do it too. I repeat things. And then I cringe inwardly when I do. Right, still checking that we're the right way up, and we are. So I've just done the inside for now, because the inside, apart from the covering of where it's bumpy, which I won't do until we've done the closure, because I might get it in the wrong place. So there's no point doing it beforehand. We don't need to do the back because we're not going to see the back. If you decide to use this for some reason as a floating element, then by all means do the back, either decorative or writing paper, your choice. But my intention is that this is fixed to a page. Okay, that's where I'm headed. So I need my circle punch here, and I'm going, I think, with this one. It's what, 1 inch? Yeah, 1 inch punch. And what paper do I want? Oh, my hands are so cold. Here's a bit of scrapbook. I think I'd rather fussy cut those bits out. Weird as they are, they're still interesting. Here's a rather scrappy bit of scrapbook paper that was made into an envelope that I received years ago. It's quite a graphic. Can we get enough of this more neutral? I think we can. Now I want something sturdier for this, so not lighter paper. I want something that's got a bit more heft to it. So can we get another one out of there? I think we can. 2. Now do I need 2 or do I need 4? I think I'm going to do 4. So just tear off that bit so I can get into a flat bit in here. And maybe a bit over here. Some of them are a bit, have been damaged, so they're not a full, complete layer of paper. I've had a layer sheared off with, like that's got a little bit missing, but hopefully it'll be okay. So I've got 2 that are pretty similar there. So I think I'll make those the top ones. Not that it matters too much. Right, I need my crocodile. I didn't grab things out beforehand, like my bit of paper that I was sure was just here. But never mind, we found a different option. So I want my crocodile. We're not using eyelets, so I want to use brads, I think. So I need to find some brads. I don't want it too bulky, so like these pearl ones would be really pretty, but they're extra raised. So I've got some beautiful flower ones that were sent to me in Happy Mail. So there's these coloured ones, which might be okay. I'm sure I've got others. I don't want the stars because they're a bit big. That cat door noise, if you heard it, that was Georgie. Probably didn't because it's in the next room, but it was like a couple of flaps before he actually went out. There's round ones. I think they're a little bit bigger than the coloured ones. I thought I had more options. I thought I had smaller ones. Maybe I haven't put them in this container. It's probably the case. So let's just go with the coloured ones. I'm going to close the lid so that it doesn't all fall on the floor like my thing did the other day. Right. Okay. So I'm going to use my smallest hole you don't even need to use a crocodile. You could easily, I need to set this at 1/2 inch so I get it kind of in the middle-ish. 1/2 inch or slightly less, slightly more, I don't know. Let's put it at 1/2 and see. What was I saying? You don't need a crocodile. You could just make a slit with a craft knife. You could use just a normal hole punch. But I've got this tool, so why not use it? Yes, so 1/2 inch is not right, but, oh, maybe it is. So I'm punching the two together so that they line up. If nothing else, if I don't get it centered, at least they'll match each other. Right, just checking I get the right side again. And eyeballing, pretty much eyeballing where the middle is, give or take. Okay. So what colour do we want for our closure? Got a couple of dark pink ones here. That could be pretty. I've had these for years. So through one hole. Now do I actually want to put it through both? Yes, I do. Probably only need to use one circle. But I'm going to use two. I think I'm going to use my alcohol glue just because we're gluing metal there. So I'm going to use my alcohol glue. So use whatever nice strong glue you've got. Wait for it to come down. I looked for this at the shop was it last week? I think it was last week. Maybe it was the week before. Where they sell this. One of the shops they sell this. And they didn't have any. And they only had one bottle of my tacky glue. So it was like, yeah, that's rather annoying. So next time I go to the shop where I generally get it from, because the place I was in is not the place I generally get it from, I'll have to I hope they have it because I'm getting very low. Right, so again putting it through the two circles just so I can glue one circle completely down, and then we've got the other circle to wrap our closure around. Come on, glue. On a hot day this would be just ballooning out all over the place, all on its own, but it's cold today, so it's going, yeah, I'm not sure I want to come out today. It's cold out there, don't you know? I don't know if I want to play. I just want to hibernate in my little bottle. Like the cats, most of the cats are all sleeping inside because it's cold. Georgie's the only one who's spent most of his time outside today. He had big cuddles this morning, and then he went back outside, whereas the rest of them all been inside. Apart from Potts, obviously he must have gone out to the bathroom or something and come back in for a snack. It is warming up outside, but it's not translating inside. Okay, so I want something to wrap around it. So I think some embroidery thread would be nice. Now I don't want to go like everything pink, so I'm thinking what colour can I do that's going to give a nice contrast, because we've got pink background paper and we've got pink what are they called, brads. I think it would be a bit much to go pink on the thread. Maybe this little lovely soft green could be quite pretty. Yeah, let's go that. And how much do I need? So I'm going to wrap it around one side. And kind of hide the end a little bit. I'm going to give it a little push in there. You could leave a tail showing, but, and then we're going to, actually, let's go the other way so it does a figure of 8, which I think looks prettier. And there, I'm going to do it in a few nice winds so that if this other end comes out, there's plenty of room to do both sides back up without fighting with it. Put a bit more out, and I think that should be plenty, and just leave. Actually, I think I do want that other end dangling, because I think just one end dangling looks maybe a little bit funny. But I've left it loose. It's not attached or glued in or anything, so it's completely up to whoever. You can adjust it as you see fit. So we could give that a little bit more of a tail, wrap it round so it's got that dangle, and then when we wind it back, then we've got two ends dangling, which I think probably looks a little bit better. Please excuse me, a little bit froggy, and I don't have a cuppa with me because I thought I have had too much or enough coffee, so I didn't make myself one to have with my video. So flat cola it is, left over from last night in my glass. Okay, so see, we've got this, well, you probably can't see, but we've got the bumpy happening here. So you could still quite easily write above and below. But if we put something decorative here, what do we want to use? Maybe just a wee butterfly on each side. I have no idea what journal this will end up going in, so could go with green because we've got the green closure. Could go two different colors. Oh, the decisions. There's a white and black and white one. I bought these on Etsy, but they're no longer available, so I'm not going to bother linking or anything, because I could link to the shop, but I can't link to the item. So there's plenty of other digitals. Oh, I've got two of the same there. Do we want to put? I actually quite like that, but I think I want to put some book page or something. The ugly duckling. Music, book page. Do I want music or book page? Let's see what sort of scraps we've got. We've already got some little... No, not that. We might be able to use the image on that bit. No. Oh, what about this? This is a yummy colour. It's from Bronte Sisters' book. Oh no, I was wrong. It's not from Bronte Sisters, although I think I actually grabbed the bit out that I wasn't looking at. I was looking at a different bit and grabbed this bit. This is fine. This will do. I want... You don't want it that big. Yep, happy with that. And I'm just going to tacky glue this because it is bumpy, so to try and press glue stick in place, I don't think it's going to be particularly fun. And I do want to ink around the butterflies just to make them stand out a little bit more. So right over top of the bumpy bit. And grab another bit. I am just checking the text before I glue it down, just to make sure it's not anything too bad. Right, now over top of the bump. Right, inking time. And I want to add something to the front as well, some sort of decoration before we call it finished. A bit of white around its, I'll call it a tail. It's not a tail, but I'm just going to call it a tail for ease. That one and this one. You know, sometimes using this exact same image creates a nice balance and a nice symmetry. Don't be afraid of using the same thing. I know often we don't, and often I'm exactly the same. Often I don't, but sometimes it's actually nice. It's a little point of difference to use the same. I mean, does that even make sense? My goodness, it does. But you know what I'm saying? It's like it's an oxymoron in some ways. An oxymoron, if you don't know, is a term used to describe when two things, descriptors, are used to describe something that are normally complete opposites. So contradictory, but they actually work in that scenario. And I'm trying to think of one that you probably know, and off the top of my head I can't think of something at the moment. Which is annoying, but however, if you search it on, you know, Google it or something, you'll find some examples. OXYMORON, and oxymoron. Gonna angle them both in, I think, as well. How pretty is that? So you've got this little decorative piece here. I'm actually tempted to put words. Yes, why not? Words. If I can find the right words, that is. Got to believe I've got a few stamps with the same little frame around. Wonder if I can find another one that we could. Well, it's on different paper. Does that matter? Not necessarily. Here's the Believe in sepia, but we don't want the same word. Listen. How about believe and listen? Why not? Let's go with it. These are mostly torn, so I'm going to go with the torn look. Just take that bit off. I could fussy cut the labels, or the words, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go with the grungy look, so to speak. Not entirely grungy, but edging towards the grungy with the coffee dyed texture here. I'm going to ink these as well. I was given this stamp set. I don't know where it came from, like what brand or anything. Not sure. It just all came in a storage file, plastic storage file, and loose stamps. It's quite a big set of all different words, and some of them don't work very well because the storage case they're in doesn't work very well for them, and they're all curled up, so you get the edges of the stamping out. I don't know how to flatten them out safely, so I kind of don't use them all that often. Put that one down the bottom, and then the other one I'll put above on the other side. Go, and put this one up here. Be lovely. So all that to say, I am sorry I cannot tell you where the stamp set came from or who made it. There we go. Excellent. I'm happy with that. I think that's really fun. Okay, so back to the front. So we have our little closure here, so we can wrap it around. Our little circles. Just trying to get under the circle. Little fingernail helps. And then once you're going, the thread gives it that space, so you can get the thread in a lot easier. Now I've got both dangles on the same side. Does it matter? Not really. You can have one out the top and one out the bottom. It doesn't matter. That one didn't go in quite. Here we go. No, I'm not happy. That one didn't go tight enough. No, it's actually the one under that. Sorry, bear with me while I fiddle with this and go the right way. Right. Pulled it tighter. So we should have more length to play with. And somehow I've changed direction. Or have I? There we go. There, that's better. That makes me happier. Oh my goodness. I still need to ink around this. Now what would I like to decorate the front with? We could go for another butterfly. A different one, a bigger one maybe. That one's not ringing my bell. Could put a little butterfly down there. And that one I think is bigger than the ones on the inside. Maybe, maybe not. Not sure. Then I'll go. It's got green on it as well. If we've got a tiny butterfly, just bear with me. I'm off screen just so I can dig in my container here. I may have used all the tiny ones. That one's not tiny. I need to print them out again. I've got a tiny one of that one. So we could switch it out and maybe go. No, it's getting too much. Let's change gear. maybe just labels. Let's have a look at the labels from Days Gone By Volume 2 from the Junk Journal Studio. The Bike Stop. Cash price, 4.5 something. 4.5 cents, I'm guessing. I like that vertical, I think, rather than that horizontal one. So, livery hats. Livery hats, cash price, 4.5. Maybe it's not cents. I don't imagine you get, I don't know, what was a livery hat worth back in the day? No idea. We've got one with numbers on. This is quite fun. If we want to go keep with the numbers. Do I want to? Or do I just want? I'm struggling now, people. I've come to a point where I'm going, I'm not sure how I want to decorate it. Do I want to just leave it as is? So now that I've done this up, I'm going to undo it and ink it because I think I need to see it inked before I proceed. So sometimes it's a bit hard to work out which way you've wound your thread. So just give it a couple of, I've actually got a split in the paper that's catching. So I'm just going to take some glue on my wee circle here and glue that up because that's part of the problem. It's catching my thread as I'm trying to wind it around. I should have taken a bit more notice. But never mind, we'll just fix it up and leave it before we try winding the thread around again. Okay, you will behave. Let's ink it. You could also round the corners of these if you want, and the inside corners, just to kind of give it a little point of difference. I don't think I am going to, but you certainly could. So leaving that little border around just gives a nice place for the ink to happen as well. Gives it a nice, because it wouldn't show up all that much, I don't think, on the paper itself. Oops. Maybe that I don't actually need to embellish it any further. I'm kind of liking the look as it is. Right, and the other side. Definitely inking and thinking here. A lot of talk going on. And boy, am I hungry. That's about what I'm thinking. Is boy, am I hungry. And it's getting close to lunchtime, so that's okay. It's okay to be hungry when it's time to eat. Right. It needs to be a little bit darker down there, I think. Okay, now how do I feel about adding a label or two? Or you know, we might as well try all the things. Let's not give up quite yet. These flowers are from Artsology, and I've said it many times before, but some of them were failed print, like this one. The cyan and my printer was clogged, so that they're not true to colour. So don't judge the set by how mine appear, because not all of them are actually true to how Artsology would like them to be. But I still like them. I feel like they've got quite a vintagey look. So and the whole batch printed out like that. So I wasn't going to throw out all that paper and ink. No, Flow's not doing it for me either. So do we just leave it like this? And I think it's perfectly lovely. I just feel like I'm like not embellishing enough, but do we need to embellish everything to the hilt? Not really. Not really. Maybe just try something just smaller. Maybe we just need to go smaller. Actually, I kind of like that. It's more like windows. Like this is the door and those are the windows. That's kind of fun. Just looking at size, because this one's quite dark and this one's quite light, and I'm just wondering about whether I want to be more light or more dark. Given that they're windows. Well, in my head they're windows. They're not really windows, but that's how they're speaking to me. Also looking at size, trying to get them about, oh, what about those two? That one and that one. Or there could be a lady in the window. I know, I'm just like choosing. No, I don't think I want the lady in the window. It's kind of a little creepy-ish in the scenario in my head. Here's the Christchurch label that Michelle put in this set, which I think is fabulous. Love it. I think I'll go back to those two. Okay, done. We're going to do that. I'll put the larger labels away shortly. Okay, let's ink them. I need to clear my desk off. I've got too much stuff here. It's all crowding in on me. I don't think I want anything behind these. I just want to pop them on. Oh, don't know if you heard my tummy gurgle. It's going, The hunger has reached my belly. Here's the other one. Here it is. Right, let's glue these on, and then I think we are done for the day. So another envelope project for you to play with. Gosh, I do love envelopes to play with. They are such fun. So much you can do with them. And free, you know, get them in the post. And oh look, somebody sent me a free resource today. You know, ignore that it's got a bill inside or a, you know, something boring or whatever. It's just like, no, somebody sent me a free resource. They stuffed it with something I don't want, but that's okay. The outside is exciting. Okay, now let's try and make these levelish. Just eyeballing, that looks pretty good. So we've got our door with our two little windows. You could also put down here, but I'm not going to. Perhaps if you put these at a different height, then you could go with longer. Lots of ways you could play with that kind of door kind of look. Okay, now hopefully that glue is dry enough. I won't wind it just yet. Let's have a little review. So this side, go onto a page. So here's my page here. Here's our piece here. Now you can glue it down completely and just have it as a little openable writing space. You can glue it top and bottom and have it as a journal, what am I saying, belly band. Just trying to grab a bit of paper here so you can slide. It's a very wide belly band, but I think it will still function fine as a belly band. Or you could glue it on 3 sides and have it as a side pocket, or obviously these sides and have it there. You could do it as a top, but I probably wouldn't unless you made it shorter than the page so that you had room there to stick something in. So belly band or a side pocket is how I would use it, or glue it completely down. If if you've got a very thin page that you want to give some support to, then gluing it completely down is a great option. So there we go. There is the envelope project for Trashcraft Tuesday. Now that is winding around a lot better now that I've taken care of the little split in the paper. So that's good. You can close it all up again. And it's ready to go on a page in a journal, which is very exciting. And then I think one more. So we've got our end dangling down. How fun is that? I'm really pleased that my vision kind of worked. Have fun with it, guys. Love to see what you make. Let me know if you give it a try and how it goes. Or if you have any variations, hit me up with those as well and we'll give them a rock and roll. Okay, take care. Have a great day and I'll be back on Wednesday with a new video. Until then, take care. Bye.